Hello, Manchester. I'm John Hopwood, and welcome once again to Ward 13. My guest today is Jocelyn Heaney, a very fine poet, a writer. She lives in Los Angeles, but you were born in New Hampshire, weren't you, Jocelyn?
That's correct, John. I was born in I was born in Burlington, Vermont, but I've been in New Hampshire. We moved to New Hampshire when I was 2.
And so you're a Mount Vernon girl.
That's correct. I love Mount Vernon.
You know, what surprises me about you being from Mount Vernon, did you go to Milford High?
No, I did not.
Oh, that's right.
I was spared that, yeah.
Okay. Is that people that live in Mount Vernon, you really don't have much, let's say, truck with Manchester, do you? You're more located towards Nashua?
Yes, we're very oriented towards Nashua. Manchester, to me, was just factories and something you sort of passed by on the way to a field trip to Concord or something.
But you had a very famous resident in Mount Vernon, didn't you, when you were a child? Linda Kasabian, the Charles Manson murder. Well, she claimed that she didn't commit murder. But isn't there a story of that about Mount Vernon, from the Mount Vernon days, about Linda that...
There sure is, John, and I'd be glad to tell you about it. It was about 1976 or 75, and Linda Kasabian was a member of the Manson family who was there on the night of the murders. She drove the car to the Tate house, and I believe she also drove the car on the second night of murders. But she was not charged with anything because she testified against Charles Manson.
Right, she states evidence.
So... the strange thing is Mount Vernon is an extremely tiny community, and Linda Kasabian lived there because originally she was from Milford, I guess. But after all her madness in California, she settled in Mount Vernon, and she was living on a farm on Old Milford Road. And my best friend at the time lived just down the street from her, and Linda had a daughter named Tanya, who
some people believed was Charles Manson's daughter.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I don't know. But Rhea was friends with Tanya, so we would often go to Tanya's house for various things.
So you knew Tanya, who might have been Charles Manson's daughter.
Right. The other irony, I should say, before I go further, was the other person who lived in Mount Vernon at that time was another best friend of mine, whose name was Jimmy Van Houten, and his cousin was Leslie Van Houten, also of the Manson family. So it was a very strange coincidence that this small bucolic town should have
two
exactly.
Manson family members.
Two people. So the Van Houtens were very interested in distancing themselves from that.
But let's get to we
okay.
only have a half hour.
All right. So anyhow, I was pretty much strictly forbidden to. My mother did not like me to go to Linda's house, even though she knew I was with Rhea. Tanya was kind of, the Rohrbarkers, my friend Rhea's family. They took care of Tanya. They let her spend the night when her mother was in jail, or when there was not enough heat in the house in the winter. So she had a hard upbringing. Anyway, I was... go ahead.
Didn't they have a smokehouse?
Oh, well, I'm getting to that. I have to give you a little background first, and I'll try to make it brief. But I knew about Helter Skelter, being only 8 or 9. I knew about Helter Skelter not only because my mother read the book, because she was a true crime fanatic, and my sister and I used to open up the book and look at the page of Charles Manson with his crazy eyes, and then we'd scream and throw the book across the bedroom. We had this game like how long you can look at it before you scream. Anyway, I also was a huge Beatles fan at the time, and I had dissected the mythology of the White Album, and I knew that, Charles Manson had sort of been obsessed with the White Album and made all these crazy interpretations from the songs. So I was very aware of that. I was very aware of the Beatles connection because Beatles were very important to me. So anyway.
Important to all of us.
That's correct. So anyway, it was very confusing to me because I realized, it's just a song. For example, the song Piggies is just a song. Obviously, it wasn't meant to advocate the murder of rich people or political people. I was aware of that. So anyway, one day I went to the Rohrbarkers' house to see Tanya, and I was feeling kind of nervous because I knew I shouldn't be there.
Right.
So I walked in and I was really nervous, and I was looking around, and it was a very strange, very ramshackle kind of place with there was a Christmas tree it was in the middle of summer, and they still had an artificial Christmas tree, and Tanya was a very sweet kid, and I was talking about Fonzie and Happy Days a lot because I was so nervous. I didn't know what else to talk about. I'm like, did you see Happy Days last night? What about Fonzie? And anyway, at one point, Linda came out of the kitchen, and then I saw her, and I knew I'd seen her picture in Helter Skelter. So she was extremely polite. She offered us cookies, and I declined. And I was just a little bit too, afraid. So she was like, yeah, want to come outside and see the pony? We have a pony. And I said, okay. We had horses. I wasn't too interested. I had my own pony, So she leads us through the kitchen and through this little shed, off the kitchen. And we go out and we see the pony, and there's the pony, we pet the pony and everything. So we turn around and we're coming back in the house, and we pass through that little shed.
Yeah.
And she stops. And
Linda Kasabian
stops. And keep in mind, she's with children who are about 9 and 8.
Yeah.
Okay. And she says to us with a kind of smirk, would you like to see something kind of gross? And I remember what went through my head was, be polite and say yes, which was crazy because I was also
There was fear?
I was fearful. Fear? I was fearful, but it was also the weird way I was raised, which was always to be polite in somebody else's house.
Right.
So I said, and Rhea looked very stricken, I don't want to see something gross. So she opened the door. There were these long, tall doors. She opened the door, and there were 3 slaughtered pigs hanging on hooks in the smokehouse.
Now, did she do the slaughtering?
I believe she did. In this case, anyway, because...
Did anybody ever in Mount Vernon see her running around with knives?
That's another story. But at this point, she said, I was completely... I could not speak because the Beatles were going through my head. Piggies was going through my head. But wait, she didn't kill anybody. But wait, it's just a song. But wait, what does this mean? And she just shrugged her shoulders and she said, I know it's sad, but what can we do? We like bacon. And then I proceeded to leave the house as soon as possible, get on my bicycle, and ride as fast as I could home.
Well, talking about crime in Los Angeles, John, can we have that first picture? You won't believe what's happened in L.A.
Does it connect to this?
Look at Captain Cork. You see the police cruiser?
Oh, God.
There was a robbery last night
at
the
my
Captain
house.
Cork.
That's a different Captain Cork, though, from the one by my house. But anyway, okay, a robbery at the Captain Cork.
Wait, no, that's the Captain Cork at your house, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't know if it is, but it no matter. It's a Captain Cork. So what happened?
I think a strange alcoholic woman. It's getting late.
No. Okay. So,
do we want to talk any about
our obsession, our mutual obsession? This is a mutual obsession, by the way.
Why don't we go into should we go into the sharks instead?
I don't know. It's up to you. If you want to go for Soo Lion or the sharks, either way.
Why don't we? We've only got about 20 minutes left.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us, Jocelyn? You're a member of PETA.
Yes, I am.
Oh,
I'm an
PETA?
I'm an animal rights activist. Yeah.
It's PETA, not
PETA.
PETA.
Everyone calls it PETA, even though PETA is the logical thing. But I'm an animal rights activist.
Just like vegan would be the logical thing, but it's
It's vegan.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
vegan. Vegan because of vegetable.
Yeah. No veg. Okay, so yeah,
And you've been obsessed with sharks since Jaws.
When I first saw Jaws at the Wilton Town Hall
John,
Theater,
can we get that picture, the poster of Jaws?
When I first saw Jaws at the Wilton Town Hall Theater in 1975 with my father, I had heard it was such a disgusting movie, worse than The Exorcist, that I stuck a lunch bag down the front of my shirt so I would have a bag to throw up in case it got really gross. That movie changed my life. Ever since that movie in 1975, I read everything about sharks. I was a shark for Halloween. I had the Jaws costume. And I began dreaming about them obsessively until I was about in my mid-30s. I dreamt about them.
But now you actually went on an adventure in South Africa,
That's
didn't
right.
you? Do you want to tell the audience about it?
Well, it was terrific. I went to South Africa to be part of Apex Expedition Tours, which is led by a guy named Chris Fallows, who's a naturalist and a shark expert and a shark researcher. And I wanted to go with him because I wanted to go with someone who really knew and cared about sharks. I didn't want to be this kind of thing. I'd heard these horror stories about these shark expeditions where people are getting wasted and, you know, putting strippers in the cage. And, you know, all these kinds of stuff. You know, getting drunk. It was like a big party atmosphere. I didn't want to do that. So,
but do you want to? You have some videos that you brought.
Yeah. So
John,
anyway,
can we see the first video? Now, what's this?
I'm in the cage. The visibility is a little poor, but I'm in the cage right now. We do some cage diving. So you see
now
the
that's
bait.
What do they use as bait?
Oh, fish heads mostly.
Are we going to see the?
Yeah, the shark should come soon. I'm sorry, it's not good resolution, but the water there is not very clear. But it's amazing.
What does it take for somebody that watched Jaws and What Happens to Richard Dreyfuss to go in and get into that cage? These are these great white sharks?
Yeah, these are white sharks. Okay, here he comes.
How big is that shark? 15 feet?
He's less than 15 feet. It's probably maybe like 12 feet. The biggest one we saw was 15. In South Africa, they tend not to be as huge as, I mean, in Mexico, they're like, you know, in California, they get very big. But here, this guy's about maybe, 12 feet or maybe 14.
But that is a great
14
white
feet.
shark.
Yeah, he's very uninterested in us. We're watching. We're snorkeling inside the cage, watching him. As you can, there's the cage. And it was just a thrill, you know.
Was this something you'd wanted to do for
lifetime? Because the dreams I had about them were spiritual. You know, it wasn't just Jaws. It was just, there was something, I really think I was a shark in another life.
So you see a shark as, like, eyes brought up to think of it as a shameful, grotesque, disgusting predator. You know, in German it's the Heilfisch, the hellfish.
Yeah, they get a bad rap. When you see them in the wild...
Oh, John, if we get a chance, can you show it's the last video? I think it's number 5. Is it the one with the Quint?
Quint?
Yeah.
Are you going to do the Quint thing? You should show the breaching video. That's the best video.
Well, I was gonna have Robert Shaw.
How much time do we have?
We got about 50. When we get a chance, can we see the breach? Well, I have them 1, 2, and 3. You know.
Yeah. See, there we are, kind of perching our feet on the cage because it was a little freaky putting your feet on the bottom of the cage because you never knew where they were going to turn up. But 2 or 3 of them would come around, and some of these videos are short because we're snorkeling, so we keep coming up for air or. You know, you're only down there as long as you can snorkel.
So do you feel any danger?
No, it was magic. It was just pure magic. They're so beautiful that it's just incredible. I mean, maybe if one had charged the cage or something like that, but they weren't interested. You know, they just came and they circled, extremely cautious animals.
Are they really, something I read said that they were shy. Is that true?
They are. They don't just go for the bait. They were like, circle, circle. They want to make sure. Okay, here's the breach video. We're watching... We went out to watch the sharks hunt seals. We saw 17 breach events in one day.
What is a breach event?
A breach is when the sharks...
there he is.
You'll see.
Yep.
Watch breaching coming out of the water.
Where the goal is.
And they're coming out of the water to attack the seal.
Right, and it's just ultimate acrobatics. So you'll see this soon. It's incredible to see.
And that's a seal over on the the left of our right, but to the left of the shark.
I mean, you can see people's reactions. It's the most thrilling thing to see in nature.
Is that the seal that just like went over his back?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the seal's doing everything he can. They're acrobats too.
I mean, but you see how large that animal is, the shark too, and what deft movements he has, considering how huge he is. I mean, it's just,
How many people were out there?
A few boats at a time come to watch. Some drag seal decoys. Oh, look at that mouth! Isn't that fabulous?
I don't know. It's scary.
Oh, they're just like gods in the sea. I mean, you look at them and you think, I would like to found a religion around this animal.
Well, are there any cultures where they are treated as like tribal gods?
Yes, Hawaii.
Totem.
Hawaii, they're ancestor spirits. That's why it's very controversial to kill sharks in Hawaii because they are considered ancestor spirits. I think they are my ancestor spirits, in fact. And this was just one of the thrilling days of my life, no question.
How many people were with you on the expedition?
Only about 13. They keep the boats pretty small. Again, if you ever want to do it, it's Apex Predators in South Africa in Simonstown. They are Chris and Monique Fallows. They're a terrific pair. You've seen them on Shark Week. You know.
Yes, he is.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they're always on Shark Week and stuff.
Got
But they're just the real deal. You know, it's not a Yahoo type of extreme sports thing. It's a real thing.
Or her, I think it's a female shark, I'm not 100%.
Yeah, so this hunt just goes on and on, but finally the seal sort of disappears. Sometimes you'd see clouds of blood. Sometimes the seals would get away. Sometimes the shark would, come closer to the boat. It was all just...
Did you see any kills?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We came up to one, and there was just blood pouring out of the shark's mouth. Just endless blood, and then he just sunk beneath the surface. It was amazing.
I think you might have him now.
And that doesn't...
I think he's got him, yeah.
I'm just in awe. It's like seeing God. That's all I can say. And it may
But it's
sound
a very
crazy.
bloody, primitive god.
That seal did very
But the
well.
way they move in the water, and one came close up to the boat,
The first
nose out of the
Avoidance
air,
knocked it
and just
out.
kind of looked at us, and then fell back beneath the water. And it was I was so glad to be alive at that moment to see that.
Is this the other video, John?
It might be the same one, but shot.
No, I think
differently.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same one.
Sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah, this might have been the first breach we saw. We were a little further away. But then the birds will come down once the seal is dead, and they'll take the entrails and fly away with the entrails.
Of the
Nick, you've been
seal?
doing this too long, man.
It's like a taffy pull between the two, and they're just
jeez.
they're rising up with the organs pulling.
But what does this mean to you? Nature,
I can't.
nature at
All I
its
know,
rawest?
I was transformed. It was like I had to see them. It was like a destined meeting, I think. And
So how would you, once again, you're a member of PETA, and
PETA doesn't-
you're an animal rights activist. I know you and your sister are both very much animal rights activists. Your sister was, I remember her picketing a park, one of those aquatic parks,
Oh, I
up
do
in
that
the
too.
Bay Area when they brought the walruses in, which do not survive captivity.
yes.
Yeah.
And I've been protesting SeaWorld. I protest the circus. I did a benefit against shark finning.
But
I
how is this different than
Because this is
seeing
nature.
a bullfight, which people say that's
absolutely
the
different.
Mithraic cult.
Absolutely different.
Because it's man.
Here's the thing. That's nature. That's how they survive. That's the way nature set it up. It doesn't mean it's pretty or it's Disney or anything, but that's a whole lot different to me than someone going out and hunting, there's no, the only reason people
mean
hunt.
sport hunting.
People hunt. It's no sport because the animal doesn't. A sport usually should be when both people know the rules of the game and they're semi-equally matched. And people who call hunting a sport, I think that's ridiculous. And I also think that there's no reason after we have eroded their habitat, use them for experiments, do all these horrible things to them. It's like, then we have to we also have the right to just go out in the woods and shoot them if we feel like it. And I find that morally bankrupt way of thinking. And I'm really against hunting. And I think most people do it for a crisis of masculinity and nothing more. I think it's mostly that. I think that's what it's driven by. Because if you want to talk about deer overpopulation, you can talk about other ways. People enjoy it, and they can't just say, "Yeah, I enjoy killing things." So they have to say, like, "It's a sport. It's a blood sport."
Well, getting to the subject of violence, where you're making a distinction between the violence that's inherent in nature and then man, Homo sapiens sapiens, the human being who knows the
Right.
consciousness, actually as a bullfight, like my brother actually saw one in Spain when he was stationed there, and it's disgusting
It is
how
disgusting.
they do everything to drain the energy of the bull. He was disgusted by it. But talking about violence, you're a writing teacher in Los Angeles. You teach creative writing and English in college, and you've taught some students with PTSD, our own
correct.
warriors. What can you tell us about, as a creative writing teacher, this new technique. It's called mindfulness. What is mindfulness? We've only got about 8 or 9 minutes. If you could just briefly describe what mindfulness and how that can be applied to writing and how that can actually be used to help, like the soldiers coming back that have PTSD and other problems.
Well, I think the first thing about mindfulness is it makes you aware of your breath and your body. And
is mindfulness a psychiatric or psychoanalytic technique?
I think it's something that probably came from Buddhism, but now, psychology and Buddhism are so sort of interwoven that mindfulness is now becoming this term that you hear everywhere.
And it's part of cognitive behavioral therapy.
I think it is very much so. And I think, most of us live in our heads. Most of us forget to breathe. And part of the stress that we feel and all the anxiety comes from this disconnection from the body. So getting connected to breath, getting out of the head, using simple things to become more aware, like walking meditation. For example, Thich Nhat Hanh is the best teacher on this. The Vietnamese monk, all his videos are on YouTube, you can watch. I think for vets, it's really good because it keeps them out of the head. Now, the problem with it, the reason people resist...
By the head, you mean ego.
Just the head ego. Where everything's going around, all that madness. But I think that...
And what does it do? By being able to center yourself, do you put yourself in a different relationship with just not society, but the universe, with what's out, what's outside of you?
I think so. I mean, I think that you have a different... I mean, we can get into the concept of no self. That takes more time, right. I think. But I think for the first thing is to just get out of the head and into the body. Now, the problem is a lot of people don't want to be in their body because when they're in their body, they start to feel the pain and the anxiety more because sometimes when you're in your head, the madness of the monkey mind is keeping you away from feeling anything. So being in the body sometimes is a little scary because it means that you're coming into a bigger consciousness, of yourself. But mindfulness and breathing and welcoming in painful emotions, learning to deal with painful emotions, not suppress them, that's also part of mindfulness.
Now, you had one student that was a combat veteran of many tours who... can you describe what it was like to teach somebody? Because obviously you've never been in the military. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But what was it like to teach that you had a particularly what would you say, rich,
I've had many PTSD students with PTSD, and some of them, I teach Tim O'Brien's The Things They Carried, so that book elicits a lot of issues. For some people, it's very healing, but part of that healing is painful because and scary because it's bringing up a lot of stuff. But I think with mindfulness, they need techniques that keep them out of thinking and that are beyond talking. Because even some of my vets have said, after a while, just sitting around talking to other vets is not enough. My story gets boring. The vets sometimes lie and makes up worse stories. It's not enough to just talk therapy. So you want to get into breath work. You want to get into some other kind of consciousness. You want to get into some other way of experiencing, and healing from these things.
So you're actually using art as a healing. You're not a psychoanalyst. You're not licensed to do that. But just the power of art. How does art have the power to heal? Why do you think that? That's a really good
question. I mean, I think because...
what does art do that another therapy wouldn't do?
I think that if I can speak about literature, it can give people a sense of someone else has experienced this. Someone else has this perspective. They've really articulated it in a way that I felt but could never put into words. And so they feel less lonely and less isolated in that experience.
And I remember in the beginning of the Iraq War, of Bush's war, that... when they finally were starting to, really they recognized PTSD, not after the fact, like the tragedy of the Vietnam veterans. They were using the World War I poets, the war poets like Siegfried Sassoon, and how much that helped these soldiers that went through the horrific experience of combat. And I think what you just said, part of it's I'm not unique. in my experience, the
Right.
shame, the fear. Hemingway in our time wrote a great short story where the guy comes back a little late and he lies and he can't tell anybody what happened to him. So he's just totally alienated. But so through literature, you're able to. They're not so you get rid of the self-abnegation
Right,
of what
right.
happened.
Absolutely.
That they're not alienated anymore. You're what are you doing? Like recreating their connections with society?
I think that's probably pretty ambitious to do in a 16-week class, but I think,
But you're helping.
But I think I try to really acknowledge. I try to encourage them to talk about their experiences if they want to, and I try to really value their experiences and also say none of us here have ever been through anything like this, so we understand how difficult it is to integrate back into society. And I really try to just honor and respect what they have to say. That's the best I can do, I think.
Well, Justin, you're going to be leaving for Los Angeles
I know.
In a few days. Do you have any parting words for the Granite State?
It's so beautiful. It's so green.
And you told me that you think that you're going to come back here,
Maybe one day, because I grew up here and I grew up in such a beautiful place, and I find it extremely healing place. It's
a very
it's
unique
so-
state, isn't it?
It is, and
In a
it's
way,
so
it kind of
beautiful.
reminds me some ways of California, and there's a
Wow.
certain freedom here that doesn't exist in other states. But we can talk. I'll have you back on the show, either Skyping.
Oh, great! I'd
But
love to.
it's time. It's that time. It's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much for visiting here at Ward 13. Good night.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. Some things in life are bad, they can really make you mad. Other things just make you swear and curse. When you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble, give a whistle. This'll help things turn out for the best. Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the right side of life. If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten, and that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing. When you're feeling in the dumps, don't be silly chumps. Just purse your lips and whistle, that's the thing. So always look on the bright side of death. Just before you draw your terminal breath. Life's a counterfeit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and death's the joke, it's true. You see, it's all a show, keep them laughing as you go. Just remember the last laugh is on you.
The following program is brought to you in living color on
Manchester Acupuncture Studio, and I'm here to teach you in a series of videos how to use acupressure at home. You will learn simple methods to address common conditions like headaches, sinus congestion, shoulder pain, indigestion, and more. These acupressure videos are intended to be supplemental care, not as a replacement for medical treatment. But by using the tools I'm sharing with you, I hope you will feel more empowered to take charge of your health. Acupressure, like acupuncture, involves stimulating points on our bodies to help us feel better. I started making these videos in weekly installments at the start of stay-at-home emergency orders. Manchester Acupuncture Studio, like other businesses, had to close temporarily as a precautionary measure to slow the spread of COVID-19. You might notice I'm wearing my pajamas, like many other people who are working from home. As a community acupuncturist, I take a casual approach to working with patients. If you would like to learn more about acupuncture, please go to our website, manchesteracupuncturestudio.org, to find a free online version of our ebook, Why Did You Put That Needle There?, written by Executive Director Andy Wegman. If you're joining me from Channel 23, Manchester Community Television, you can find all of these videos on Manchester Acupuncture Studio's YouTube channel. I did this work in collaboration with my husband, Eric. He's the man behind the camera.
Hello.
And with my colleague, Andy Wegman, and several patients of the Manchester Acupuncture Studio who requested topics covered by these videos. I'd also like to extend thanks to my friend John Hopwood for putting these videos on local television. So please stick around and follow along at home. Hi everybody, I'm Elizabeth with the Manchester Acupuncture Studio, and today I'm going to talk to you about acupressure points for pain and for headaches. So there's different kinds of headaches and there's different kinds of pain. So we're going to talk about 2 points that are good for frontal headaches, but also good for any kind of generalized pain anywhere in the body. The first point is large intestine 4. This is located on the web of your hand between your thumb and index finger. And this point does a lot of different things, but frontal headaches are at the very top of the list. The large intestine channel starts on the index finger, it runs up the arm, and it ends on the face. So large intestine points, especially LI4, are good for frontal headache, sinus congestion, toothache, jaw pain, nosebleeds, anything having to do with the face, think LI4. But also, if you have any kind of discomfort anywhere in your body for any reason and you can't think of what to do, just go to LI4, press and rub 10 to 30 times, and that can really go a long way. Our second point is liver 3. And liver 3 is located on the web of your foot between your big toe and your second toe. And the liver channel runs from the big toe, up the inside of the leg, up the torso and chest, and then from there, a divergent pathway continues on from the chest, the neck and throat, the face, and ends at the top of the head. So that makes liver 3 an ideal point for frontal headaches and also pain on the top of the head known as a vertex headache. So whenever you use large intestine 4 and liver 3 together, it becomes a point combination known as the 4 gates. And this is commonly used for any kind of pain in the body, whether it be more internal, like a digestive discomfort and pain, or a musculoskeletal pain. And that's it. Give this a shot, see what you think. And again, we miss all of you. We hope to see you again and in good health. I'm Elizabeth with the Manchester Acupuncture Studio, and spring is here, so we're going to talk about points for seasonal allergies. We will be touching our face, so be sure to wash your hands for 20 seconds before and after doing this acupressure exercise. So let's get started. Our first point is bladder 2 on the innermost part of our eyebrows. You can just press and rub in circles. And as your sinuses start to open, you can also pinch the same point with your thumb and index finger. And then you can kind of work your way along your eyebrows, just pinching and massaging your eyebrows. This will help ease some tension in your forehead. Great. Our next point is stomach 3. It's up along the cheekbone, directly below the center of the eye. And you'll just sink right on in there. And you can just press and rub the point. And as your sinuses start to open, you can massage along your cheekbone, moving outward towards your ear. And this will help not only open your sinuses, it'll help ease some tension in your face and your jaw. Great. And our last point is on either side of the nose, large intestine 20. Just press and rub. And yeah, my sinuses are opening. This is good stuff. So give this a try. These points are great for seasonal allergies. They're also good for facial paralysis. So thanks for joining us today. We do miss all of you, and we hope to see you again and in good health. Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth with the Manchester Acupuncture Studio, and today I'm following up on a special request to teach acupressure points that are good for shoulder and neck pain, which is great because I've got that right now. I'm going to show you 2 points on the side of the hand, the pinky side of the hand, small intestine 3 and small intestine 4. And just for a little bit of background, the small intestine channel starts on the outside of the pinky. It runs up the side of the arm, up the back of the arm, and it zigzags across the shoulder. So points on the small intestine channel are ideal for pain on the shoulder blade. They're also good for pain on the nape of the neck and for any generalized back pain, low back pain. So I'm gonna find small intestine 3. It's right next to the knuckle of your pinky, the 5th metacarpal. I'm gonna press and rub this point. And interchangeably, I'm going to use small intestine 4. So I'm going to slide up the side of my hand, and before I get to the wrist, I'm going to fall into a little divot and press and rub small intestine 4. And I'm going to do this interchangeably while I kick things up a notch. I want to activate points on my shoulder blade. So I am leaning against a foam roller. You can also do this with a tennis ball against a wall or on the floor. If you lean against the wall, then it's easier to multitask and massage small intestine 3 and 4 while massaging the shoulder directly with the foam roller. There are 6 or 7 small intestine channel points on the shoulder blade. All of them, when they're activated, are good for treating shoulder blade pain, and they're also good for pain in the upper arm and pain in the elbow. And yeah, that's the spot right there. I'm just gonna lean right here. Thanks for joining me. We miss all of you. We hope to see you again soon and in good health. Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth with the Manchester Acupuncture Studio. Are you ready to learn a magic trick to relieve leg cramps? This point is so easy that it's under your nose. Literally, the point is under your nose. The next time you wake up in the middle of the night with a Charlie horse, or you exercise just a little too much, remember governing vessel 26, or the divot between your nose and your upper lip. You're just gonna press and rub this point and take deep breaths until the muscle cramp or the leg spasm goes away. And that's it. It should take about 30 seconds to a minute. I've been practicing this and teaching this tip to patients for years. I learned about it from my friend Christine Koveri-Weber, a shiatsu practitioner and yoga teacher. And thanks for joining me. Again, this is Elizabeth from the Manchester Acupuncture Studio, reporting from home. We miss all of you, and we hope to see you again and in good health. I'm Elizabeth with the Manchester Acupuncture Studio, and today we're going to talk about acupressure points for earaches and ear pain. I'm following up on a request from a patient who was experiencing a headache behind the ear, and these points will work as well. So for this sequence, we're going to be using points on our hand, our wrist, and then our opposite foot. So let's just say that I've got an earache on my left side. I'm going to stimulate points on my left side, my left wrist, and then I'm going to go to the right foot and stimulate points there. Today we're using points on the gallbladder and Sanjiao channels because they both meet and have points around the ears. So first we're going to start with Sanjiao 2 and Sanjiao 3. So both of these points are right by the knuckles. We're in the space between the knuckles of the pinky and the ring finger. And we're going to massage and press these points maybe 20 to 30 times. Take your time, spend some time here. Both of these points are especially good for ear disorders, but Sanjiao 3 is the most important point for ear disorders. After that, we're going to go to find the top of the wrist and measure 2 finger widths up and locate the space in between the heads of the 2 bones of the lower arm. And this is Sanjiao 5. Sanjiao 5 is also good for ear disorders, but it's especially good for headaches that are on the side of the head. So just press and rub in circles and give it a little while to help ease up the headache or the ear pain. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the opposite foot and we're going to find the space in between the bones of the pinky toe and the next toe over. These are 3 gallbladder points, gallbladder 41, gallbladder 42, and then gallbladder 43. And we're going to massage these points. You can use your finger rubbing back and forth like I am, or you can get in there with your thumbs and really dig in. All of these points are good for disorders of the eyes and the ears, but they're especially good for a one-sided headache. And that's it. I hope this is helpful. Thank you again for joining me. We hope to see you again soon and in good health. I'm Elizabeth with the Manchester Acupuncture Studio, and today we're going to talk about acupressure points for digestive discomfort. We're going to talk about 2 points, pericardium 6 on the wrist and spleen 4 on the instep of the foot. These points are commonly used together to treat any kind of digestive discomfort. So let's get started. To locate pericardium 6, you're going to find the crease of your wrist, measure 2 finger widths up, and then press the center of your wrist in between the 2 tendons. And you can do this on both wrists maybe 20 to 30 times or until you start to feel some symptom relief. If you've ever used motion sickness bracelets, that's exactly what those bracelets are intended to do, apply pressure to pericardium 6. Next, we're going to locate spleen 4 on the instep of the foot. So the easiest way to find spleen 4 is to put your finger on the top of the knuckle of your big toe on the inside of your foot, and then trace the shaft of the bone until you reach the next bump on your foot. And that is where you'll find spleen 4. So press and rub spleen 4 on both feet, alternating back and forth between pericardium 6, and do this as often as you need to get symptom relief for any kind of mild digestive discomfort like nausea, hiccups, bloating, or even some more severe issues like abdominal pain, morning sickness, and vomiting. These points are also commonly used for relieving anxiety and calming the mind, especially if your anxiety goes straight to your gut. And that's it. I hope this is helpful. We miss all of you, and we hope to see you again soon and in good health. Manchester Acupuncture Studio, and this is Sophia. And today we're going to talk about points that can relieve constipation. This is a request from a patient and a common reason why people seek out acupuncture. We're going to be using 3 groups of points on the back of the wrist, near the elbow, and then below the knee on the lower leg. So let's get started. So first we're going to find the back of the wrist, and then we're going to measure 2 finger widths up from the back of the wrist in the center, and then a 3rd finger width just above that. This is Sanjiao 6 and Sanjiao 5. Sanjiao 6 is the most important point to treat constipation. And used with Sanjiao 5, both of these points together can help relieve stagnation in the large intestine. So you're going to press and rub and massage points on both the left and the right wrist. Give it a few minutes for each side before we move on to the next group of points. The next group is near the elbow and just below. So locate your elbow and then sink your thumb into the fleshy area in the crease when you bend your arm. This is large intestine 11. You're going to massage large intestine 11 and then massage down the channel about what would be the width of your palm, and then back up again. You can do this several times. You're hitting large intestine 11, large intestine 10, large intestine 9, and large intestine 8. All of these points are good for distension in the stomach and abdominal pain. And finally, we're gonna find the mirror image of this area on the lower leg just below the knee. So measure about the width of your hand from the bottom of your kneecap in between the two bones of your lower leg. We're starting with stomach 36, and we're gonna massage stomach 36 along the bone till we get to what would be about the middle of the lower leg, and then back up again. Here we're massaging stomach 36, stomach 37, stomach 38, stomach 39, and then when we're about midway of the lower leg, we're just gonna move our thumb over to the other side of the lateral shin bone, the fibula, and massage stomach 40. Stomach 40 is a really important point for addressing and treating any kind of phlegm or mucus condition. Acupuncture students will commonly refer to this point as phlegm 40. And we talk about phlegm, we're not just talking about phlegm in the stomach and the digestion, but also any kind of phlegm that can be in the chest and chest congestion. And then we're just gonna massage back up the stomach channel and do this, both sides, left and right leg. And the points on the stomach channel on the lower leg and the points on the large intestine channel around and near the elbow are good also for any type of mental agitation and mania. So try these points the next time you're feeling agitated or a little bit restless. Right now we're facing some really uncertain times, and we need to be calm and focused and present, whether we're working under new pressures and restrictions or we're waiting to go back to work at all. We just want to be able to, again, stay calm and focused and able to digest the challenges that are ahead of us. And that's it. Thanks for joining me. I hope to see all of you again soon and in good health. Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth with the Manchester Acupuncture Studio, and I'm going to teach you a simple acupressure technique to treat menstrual cramps and the low back pain associated with it. I learned this when I was an acupuncture student, and I've been practicing this on myself ever since. So what you're going to want to do is roll up your pajama pants, and you're going to locate spleen 8 and spleen 9 on the inside of your calf along the head of the shin bone or the tibia. So spleen 8 about here, spleen 9 about here. Basically, just find the tender spots. These areas tend to be sore on most people, so if you just find the areas that are a little bit more sore to the touch, those are the areas that you're going to want to focus on. So once you find the points, go ahead and gently massage, or you can just follow the shaft of the bone and just keep rubbing the areas. Take some nice deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and do the same treatment on the other side. And that's it. I hope this has been helpful. Again, I'm Elizabeth with the Manchester Acupuncture Studio. Reporting from home, we miss seeing all of you, and we hope to see you again soon and in good health. Hey everyone, this is Elizabeth from the Manchester Acupuncture Studio, and I'm going to talk to you today about how you can use a hairdryer to give yourself a nice, warm, therapeutic acupressure technique at home. We learned this from our friend Robert Hayden from Presence Community Acupuncture in Hollywood, Florida. So you're going to need two things. You're going to need a hairdryer, and then you're going to need a piece of cardboard with a hole punched in the middle. But just as a disclaimer, this is not for anyone who has neuropathy, vascular issues or any circulatory problems. So let's get started. Just to give you a brief background of what we're simulating, this is simulating the effects of moxibustion. We don't use moxibustion in the group community clinic, but we do send patients home periodically with moxa sticks. They're like herbal cigars. You light them and hold them above particular acupressure points or areas of the body to warm the area and to provide some nourishment and some tonification. So if you're feeling weak right now, need a chi boost, tired, chills and fever, maybe a headache, or maybe you just want to keep yourself well during these times, then go ahead and roll up your pajama pant legs and I'll show you how to get started. And so this is me. I'm in my pajama pants because I really haven't left the house much today. So I'm gonna find stomach 36, a commonly used acupuncture point we use in the clinic all the time, by finding the bottom of my kneecap, and I'm gonna measure about a hand width down and locate it between my tibia and my fibula. So again, about a hand width down, and I usually find it because my finger just naturally dips into the area. I'm gonna put my piece of cardboard over the point, and then I'm gonna use the hairdryer to warm the area until I feel a little zap, and then I'm gonna back off. And I'm gonna give it about a good 20-30 seconds before I reapply 2 more times. And I'm gonna back off and give it 1 more go. And then I can repeat on the other side. But while I'm here, I'm gonna kick in a bonus point. I really like stomach 40, which is located in the middle of the lower leg. I can't really tell if I'm exactly there, but I think I'm there, but it's hard for me to measure on myself. But I really like stomach 40. It's good for phlegmy coughs, phlegm congestion, phlegm in the chest. Also a nice point for anxiety. I find it really relaxing, so I'm also gonna target that area too. And I'm gonna back off and give it another go. And 1 more time. And that is the treatment. And I can go ahead and I can do this on the other leg. So give this a shot if you can, see what you think, let us know. I also included in the article a link to a really interesting story from China. There are doctors in hospitals in the Wuhan province using acupuncture, moxibustion, and Chinese herbs to treat patients who have been diagnosed with COVID-19 as well as their families. So it's really great to see traditional therapies well integrated into Western therapies during this pandemic. I hope you are safe and well in your homes. I hope to see you again soon and in good health, and I hope we can all get through this together, but from a distance. Hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth with the Manchester Acupuncture Studio, and I'm going to teach you a simple recipe, kudzu and cinnamon tea. This is something that I learned when I was in acupuncture school from my teacher, Dr. Lillian Papin. So kudzu starch is good for reducing a fever. It balances blood sugar, it eases neck and shoulder tension and headaches, and studies show that it can reduce cravings for alcohol consumption. We've got cinnamon because cinnamon prevents the onset of a cold, it reduces phlegm in the chest, it balances blood sugar, and it's really great for arthritic pain, especially pain that gets worse in cold, damp weather. So what we're gonna need for this recipe is a tablespoon of the kudzu powder, starch dissolved in water, and we're gonna need a few dashes of cinnamon powder, and we're gonna add that to a cup of apple juice. So I've had this apple juice warming on the stove. I'm gonna go ahead and add a couple dashes, and I'm gonna give this kudzu starch a really good stir. You don't wanna add it straight to the warm apple juice because it'll turn into a ball of dough if you just add it straight. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in. And I'm gonna keep stirring it because we want the juice to thicken and not get clumpy. And because kudzu is a starch, it's great to use for sauces, gravies, anywhere that you would replace cornstarch. And that's a good way to get more therapeutic benefit from your recipes. And once the tea or the remedy is warm enough, we can go ahead and pour it into our mug. And we can enjoy. And Dr. Lilian would always end her classes and her seminars quoting Hippocrates, "Let food be thy medicine, let medicine be thy food." Thanks for joining me for a special COVID-19 blog edition. We miss all of you, and we hope to see you again and in good health. Thanks again for joining me. If you're watching this on Manchester Community Television, Channel 23, you can find all these videos on Manchester Acupuncture Studio's YouTube channel and on our blog at manchesteracupuncturestudio.org. My husband Eric and I made all these videos right here in our home in Manchester. A more extensive collection of acupressure videos made by acupuncturists all over the US and Canada is available on Vimeo through the People's Organization of Community Acupuncture. You can find it at vimeo.com/PocaCoop. Be safe. We hope to see you again soon and in good health.